Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis and I'm the owner of Moody Quilting Fabrics. Today I am going to show you how to do foundation paper piecing, a new method. To me, when I saw this a month ago, I was totally blown away. It is a complete game changer and I wanted to share it with you today. So what you will need is a cutting mat. You will need the add a quarter inch ruler, or add a quarter ruler. Okay, it has a little ledge here and I'll show you how that works. A rotary cutter and some kind of cardstock with a straight edge or something like this. Now this is a metal thing that I have that I used for hemming curtains. You put it in, you steam it, and it crisps the hem out for you. Makes a perfect hem. Of course you're going to need your scrap fabrics to do this, an ironing surface, a sewing machine, and your pattern. Now I designed this on EQ8 and it's a little tiny house pattern. It measures from here to here 4.5 and from here to here 8.5, 3.5, and so it finishes 4 by 3. You will eventually find this pattern up on my website for free. And I'm hoping soon to do a tree in this size to go with this house pattern. So let's get started, okay? And this is the little finished product, and I've done quite a few, and you can have a lot of fun with your scraps doing these houses. So the first thing you need to do is, I'm just checking, okay, so you want to get your pattern onto freezer paper. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing you need to do is you need to fold on the sewing lines. You need to fold on the sewing lines, just like so. And you want to do them both ways. Okay, so you want to go ahead and do them. So you line. This is why we want a hard surface with a sharp edge. Those realtor cards, something, yeah, would do the trick. So you just fold on all the lines, okay, and I've done this several times. So you want to be able to quickly be able to fold them back and everything, okay? So I'm just trying to decide which one. I think this one is the newer one. So you can use these over and over again. I've used this a couple of times already. So the first thing we want to do is look at the pattern and see which pattern we want, which fabric has to go down first. So in this case it is the door because it says A1, okay, and then there's A2 and A3. The first thing is super simple. We iron on the door. Let me get this stuff out of the way. I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to bring, I'm only going to show you the ironing a few times because it takes time to do this. So the first thing we want to do is get the door down, and the door is this green fabric. So you're going to turn the pattern from the right side, what we call the right side, to the wrong side, where the freezer paper side is, the glue side is on. And we're going to iron this down. I don't know how many times I've used this, so I'm not sure if it's going to stick hard enough, but I'm going to get this ironed down. Alright, I use a steam ironed, and now we're just going to flip this around. So now we have A1 done. Now we want to do A2. So I'm going to take my A2 fabric and put it aside. I'm going to put the other pieces aside. I'm going to get my add a quarter inch ruler and my little rotary cutter. And the first thing we're going to do is fold back the line, and this is why we take the time to fold them both ways, because then it's easier to fold them. They're already folded, and we need to be able to have accurate. Now I've taken the ruler and I've butted it up against the paper, and then cut my quarter inch. Now I'm going to take this fabric right sides together, and I'm going to line it up really carefully, and I'm going to pick this up carefully because I don't want the fabric to come off the paper. Then I'm using a foot that has a guide. It's called a stitch in the ditch foot. You could use an open toe foot, you can use a 1/4 inch foot. Just make sure that you can sew and see the paper, because you want to sew in the ditch of the paper, not through the paper. And the reason why I like this new method is because I don't have to change my stitch size. I've left it at a regular stitch size for stitching, and I'm not needing to sew through the paper, so later I don't have to cut or pull apart the paper. And then I can use these paper patterns over as many times as I want. Now, if you want to use them often and the glue is not there anymore, it's not ironing and sticking anymore, then you can use a little bit of a glue stick to do that. Now I'm finger pressing this, and I'm going to just quickly show you to iron it. I'm not going to show you every step of the ironing, but I will be doing the ironing off to the side. Alright, so I really hate doing that because look at the steam that's coming off of this. It's like, so there. Now I'm going to do a 3, and I'm going to pull this back and fold it where I've already pre-folded everything. Put the 1/4 inch up, butt the little ledge up against the paper, and I'm going to cut the excess off. So now we're going to put the next piece, which is this piece, right sides together, centering it, lining the raw edges up, and we're going to go ahead and sew. Now I use my foot to put the guide on the foot against the paper, and I stitch in the ditch of the paper. So like I said, if you don't have this stitch in the ditch with a guide foot on your machine, find a foot that you are comfortable with enough to be able to line things up. Alright, so we're gonna move this along, and now we're gonna do this. Now the thing I like about foundation paper piecing is that you get perfect points, you get perfect size blocks, and the one thing I did not like about English paper piecing was that, so there's my 3 pieces. What I didn't like is that you had to tear apart the paper after, you had to sew in, you had to sew with a much smaller stitch length. So if you made a mistake, it's just faster to redo, and to me it was a lot of waste on paper. So there we go. I'm going to do a 4 now, and we're going to take that piece, is this one here, and I'm just going to line, and these pieces are way bigger than I need, but that's, I don't mind. I have plenty of stash fabric that I'll never use, and this is a great project with these little houses to use up some of that stash. So again, we'll continue. Finger press. Forgot to, there we go. Iron. And I think my bobbin has ran out. Yes, it did. And I'll just pop this one in instead. This one's almost finished too. There we go. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Alright, so now we are ready to do the roof. So we're going to fold back the line for the roof, and we are going to put, oh sorry, getting ahead of myself. So we're going to cut this down. I love this rotary board, this mat, because it just can quickly turn. And get rid of that. Alright, so, and we're going to get the, you know what, this is coming undone a little bit. This paper's been used a little bit often, so it's not gluing as well as it did the first few times I used the paper. I might have to start using a glue pen to hold everything. Alright, so now we're going to just go ahead and sew along the line. And we're going to move this out of the way, move this back in, and we're going to open and finger press the roof. And there's plenty there. And we have 2 more pieces to put on. And we're going to do a 6, which is the one side of the sky, or the background. And we're going to grab one of these. And we're going to make sure that this is centered so it covers. Yeah, it looks like it's going to cover. There we go. We're going to go ahead and iron that. And now our last piece. So we're almost to the home stretch. We're going to cut this. Again, we're going to take right sides together. Yeah, it looks like it's covering. We're going to use that guide to go and stitch in the ditch along the side of the paper fold of the pattern. There we go. Now we're going to open this up. We're going to finger press this. Yes, it goes past. And we're going to iron it down. So that was the last piece on. Now we have to square up and cut it, making sure we have a 1/4 inch. And this is what I'm going to show you now. I take a ruler like this that has some nice lines. I'm just going to move this a little bit further over. Have my rotary cutter, and I take the 1/4 inch line and I place it on this dark solid line, and I cut. I do not just line it up on the paper, because the paper might not be a 1/4 inch from that dotted that solid line anymore, because I've used this several times and you can end up cutting off the paper each time. And I just noticed something. Ooh, that's tight. I just noticed that it wasn't past the paper. I was moving so fast to try to get this done. So anyways, this is what it is. It's not gonna change anything because it's just there on the line. If it's a little off, it's not gonna change anything in the big picture of things. And there we are. And there it is, all done and cut. So there's the finished product before I remove the paper. Now we're going to remove the paper, and it's coming off very easily because I've used this paper more than once. So the glue is not. And there it is, and that's how fast. And there, the pattern is still usable. You can use it. If the glue on the back side runs out, you can use a little bit of a glue stick and just glue your pieces down and give them a good iron to set the glue. And use a water-resistant glue. And chances are, if you just use a little bit, it will just disappear. Or you can use the paper till the freezer paper's glue side wears off, and then just change your paper to a new one. Not a big deal. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. These houses are so much fun to do. As you see, I've done quite a few. And I hope that you will check out my website. I'll put the link down below, and check out and look for this little house project that that I'm doing. It's tiny houses. So happy sewing. Bye.